so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here, and today's video is going to be the I'm a guilty reader book tag. Today's Tag Tuesday. I felt like doing a tag. No, I was on tag, but I don't really care. That has never stopped me before, but if you want to do this tag, I tag you. Just throwing that out there before we keep going. Number 1 is, have you ever regifted a book that you've been given? Not that I'm aware of. I actually don't ask for a lot of books ever from people, but if someone has given me a book, I keep it. Oh no. One time, a girl I used to talk to, she gave me books. I got rid of all of them. I was like, I don't need that bad energy. But I didn't re-gift them. I just donated them. I got them away. That's what I did with those. But I didn't re-gift it, so technically no. Number 2 is, have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? Yes, and I think that happened once not too long ago, but it was more of an unintentional thing. Like, we were talking about it, and I thought she said, like, have I heard of it? And I was like, yeah. And then she started talking about it. I was like, oh, but you know, like, I'm only like halfway through the book. I had to like stop her because I was like, oh shit, no, I haven't actually read it. But purposely lied? No, because honestly, when I like to talk about books, and I want people to talk about books with me, and like, I go into detail, so I feel like you'd be able to tell if I hadn't read a book. It would just be too obvious. But that happened accidentally. Now, if I was younger, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if I was younger. But more the opposite, actually. Number 3 is, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Yes. Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. This, I read it in 7th grade, and I brought it home. My teacher let me, but something happened throughout the year that she was gone. We ended up getting like a different teacher midway through the year in my honors English class, and I left this at home, and I honestly completely forgot about it. And it wasn't until I was moving stuff around my room, because I always like rearranged my room constantly, and I still somewhat do sometimes. And that's when I realized, oh snap, I never gave that back. But I was already in like 8th grade and I didn't care. I want to say that happened also with a library book from back in the day. I ended up just paying the late fee. It wasn't much because I was also like a librarian. I didn't mean to like take it, but I don't know why. I just paid the fee. It was only like $4. I was like, oh, I'll just pay for it. It was somewhere at home. But I believe I ended up just donating the book. But the struggle. But can I just say that people have borrowed my books and not returned them? There's one of them, he called me back and I was like, no, it's okay. That's just because I was awkward and I hadn't talked to him for a while. But 2 other people, and I think they like got rid of them or something. I don't know, which upsets me because one of them was my sister's keeper and the other one I did already rebuy. But bitches be tripping. That's why I don't like letting people borrow my books. Just throwing that out there. Number 4 is, have you ever read a series out of order? I would technically say the only one I've ever done that is The Mortal Instruments, because I didn't read, well, it's not out of order. I read them in the order they were supposed to be, but I didn't read The Infernal Devices in between The Mortal Instruments. And maybe that was one of the things I did wrong, because I didn't enjoy The Mortal Instruments. Like, the last book, I hated it. I can't read something out of order, though. Maybe V.C. Andrews' books. If I did that, I actually wouldn't be surprised. But no, I tend to read everything in order. I have an issue with that. Number 5 is, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? Yes, accidentally. When my best friend was moving back down to Florida after being gone for a while, I had gotten her like this cute Christmas present because she moved in the month of December and her birthday is also in December. And one of the books I gave her was The Fault in Our Stars. And she was like, oh, I haven't read the book. And I don't know why. I assumed she had already seen the movie. And I talked about him dying. She's like, Stephanie, I haven't seen the movie either. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad at that point because I did not mean for that to happen. But I have never meant to spoil a book for someone. If that was like the only time I can honestly think about it. And the only time I have spoiled is someone who's not interested and just actually wants to know what happens. Like that, I do that sometimes. If I have no interest in the book, just tell me what happens. Next is, have you ever dog-eared a book? Yes. Plenty of books. I tend to actually only do that for paperbacks. If it's paperback, I dog-ear the crap out of it. If it's a hardcover, I don't know why. It's harder for me to dog-ear it. Number 7 is, have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? Yes. All the fucking time. One of my friends that I hadn't talked to in like years, like we're good, like we're friends, we're more like acquaintances now. But like she was like, oh, do you have the Divergent series or just the first book? I was like, just the first book. Like, because she saw an Instagram post. I'm like, I'm not lending you my books. I will probably never see it for the light of day. And after the last 2 instances where I have lent out 2 books and not received them back, it was kind of upsetting because it's like I actually enjoyed those 2 books. So I just say no. If you ask me if you could borrow it, I'm probably going to tell you no. I don't care if you're family or not. Like, just no. The only person I never minded lending her books was my best friend, because she's like me. Like, she takes care of the book. She's not going to lose it. But, like, other than that, no. I'll tell you no. Like, I really don't care. Number 8 is, have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? I have done that. I don't remember what book it was for, but I did do that. And I don't know why. I think it was because it's like, oh, I think it was more when I was younger. But I don't know why I did that. Oh, I think it actually was when I first read the first book to Twilight. I kept it to myself at first because I was such a hater against Twilight. But then I watched the movie, and I did admit that I liked the movie to all my friends. I didn't keep that from them. But then I was like, well, I kind of want to read the books now. And then I read it. Once I read the first book and I realized that, yes, I loved it, I told them. But other than that, I know when I was younger, I did do that a few times. That's just, I don't know why we do things like that. I was weird. I think we all are. That's a question, so someone else has obviously done that. Number 9 is, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? Yes. AKA skim reading. I've done that with the City of Heavenly Fire, which is the last book in the Mortal Instruments. I did that with a few books. It happens. Sometimes it just happens where it drags, and I will skim read as I'm skipping. Like, okay, nothing important happens, I could skip that chapter. That happens a lot though with Cassandra Clare. I find like she has a lot of fillers. That's why I refuse to buy her books anymore. I do not enjoy them. But it happens. I don't do it very often, like ever really. It's once in a blue moon, because if I'm gonna read the book, I'm gonna read the book. But I have done that, especially with Heartless. Oh my god. Towards the very end, I was just skimming. I didn't even care. The interest to the book was lost. It was gone. It happens. The only reason why I'm not hauling that though is because it's gorgeous. And number 10, have you ever badmouthed a book you actually liked? I'm incapable of doing that. But that is the Guilty Reader book tag. Comment down below your favorite questions. Do this own tag if you want and let me know you did it. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'm being weird right now and I'm like, I can't stand still right now. I don't know why. Oh, I had coffee today and I haven't had coffee in a while. That's probably why. It's like settling in, it's there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you in my next video, and goodbye.